The victims of the University of Abuja abduction, 2 professors, a senior lecturer and 3 members of their families, have been rescued by a joint effort of security operatives in the nation's capital. The operational word here is rescued, according to the police, and they want residents to sleep with both eyes closed as the year comes to an end. My guest says the usual crime and criminality that plagues the nation's capital during the Ember months will not happen this year. More on that later. We look at the University of Abuja abduction as well as the security situation in the FCT in our feature story. And as always, we bring you Abuja wrap for the week. This is Dateline Abuja. Hello and welcome to Dateline Abuja. I am Kayla Megwa. We begin with an update on major happenings making the rounds from Nigeria's seat of power.
The Vice President, Professor UNIABUJA, is challenging Nigerian youths to keep faith alive despite the challenges they face and focus on building the future they desire. Professor UNIABUJA was speaking at the beginning of a 3-day National Youth Conference in Abuja to mark the 2021 African Youth Day.
We will, as an administration, continue to support your efforts by creating an environment that enables the fulfillment of your dreams. It may be difficult, but we will get there. Wherever you are in this country, whatever it is that you're doing, keep moving. Don't look back. You will win eventually. Keep moving ahead.
The Vice President also presided over the weekly Federal Executive Council meeting. The Council approved 39 billion naira worth of contracts awarded by the Ministries of Aviation as well as Works and Housing, and also the Nigerian Customs Service. The Council also approved the contract for the construction of furnishing of a new Senate building and the 1,000 capacity conference center by the University of Abuja. The federal government has set up 2 subcommittees on the restructuring and rationalization of parastatals, agencies and commissions, as recommended by the Orosanye-led Presidential Committee about 10 years ago. The committees were inaugurated by the head of service of the Federation, who performed the exercise on behalf of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. The Supreme Court held a special court session in honor of the late Supreme Court Justice Samuel Oseji. They were joined by members of the bar and the bench in extolling the attributes of the late jurist. The Supreme Court has fixed January 17, 2022 to hear the application challenging the jurisdiction of the court and the main suit in the case instituted by the Rivers State government, seeking to stop the federal government from ceding 17 oil wells in the state to Imo State. The 7-man panel led by Justice Kudirat Kekereekun fixed the date after counsels to the Attorney General of the Federation and Imo State, Mr. Remi Olatubora and Olushola Oke, told the court that they had 2 motions challenging the competence of the suit and the court's jurisdiction. The Senate will debate the siege on the residence of the Supreme Court Justice Mary Odili, by security agencies when it resumes plenary on the 9th of November. Chairman of the Senate Committee on Judiciary, Senator Okpeyemi Bamidele, disclosed this to journalists during an oversight visit to the Chief Justice of Nigeria. Members of the National Assembly Joint Committees on Land and Marine Transport are questioning the construction of a standard-gauge Kano-Maradi rail line while planning to build what they describe as archaic rail lines for the southeast and north-central part of the country. Speaking during the Budget Defense session of this ministry, the Minister of Transportation, Mr. Rotimi Amechi, explains the gains to be derived from the Kano-Maradi rail line. In another Budget Defense session, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, is calling on the Minister of Finance and the Budget Office to promptly release the Army's 2022 capital budget in the first quarter of 2022. He made the appeal when he appeared before the Senate Committee on Army.
The Nigerian Army is gradually implementing the Nigerian Army Order of Battle 2016. This has led to the Nigerian Army expansion from 5 to 8 divisions, establishment of Nigerian Army Battle Fitness Center, and other operational and administrative commands and units, among others, to bridge the gap being exploited by bandits and other criminal elements. This therefore calls for a review of the subsisting envelope budget system, which over the years have been a major challenge in adequately funding the Nigerian Army for its constitutional roles. It is my hope, sir, that this distinguished committee would passionately look into this with a view to correcting this anomaly.
The Minister of Power, Mr. Abubakar Aliyu, is assuring that the Zungeru and Kashimbila hydropower project would be ready by December this year. Mr. Aliyu gave the assurance when he appeared before the Senate Committee on Power to defend his ministry's 2022 budget proposal.
We scheduled to commission Zungeru in December 2021. So we are still working with the December deadline. They have some issues, some challenges of security. They have where they call the tripartite point, where they needed a certain number of security, but they were only able to get half of that. So the full complement, they want it to be complemented by the military, so that the workers can stay and work on shift and sleep on that tripartite point. But as it is now, they don't do that. They have to move away because of insecurity.
The Minister of Works and Housing, Mr. Babatunde Fashola, has given the timelines for the completion of major federal government projects. He says the Abuja-Kano Road will be ready by 2023, while the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway and the second Niger Bridge will be completed in 2022. He made the statement during his budget defense session before the House of Representatives Committee on Works.
Welcome back. Let's get right into it. The nation's capital, once known for its low crime rate, has spiraled into a den of crime and criminality in recent years, giving its residents pause and causing sleepless nights for security operatives. The fear that crimes happening in the states around the FCT, like Kaduna, Nasarawa, and Niger states, will eventually make its way into Abuja, has in many ways become a reality. Were the security operatives resting on their oars? Did we watch this insecurity grow? Was enough done to preempt the situation and take necessary action? Please watch this.
Unarmed civilian guards manned the gate of the University of Abuja staff quarters in Kiri village in Gwagwalada area council of the Federal Capital Territory, where 6 people were kidnapped by gunmen on Tuesday morning. This huge crowd of security personnel and sympathizers inside the quarters is unusual at this once serene environment. Residents say the peace in this neighborhood was interrupted when the gunmen invaded the area, shooting sporadically for hours before abducting 6 people, including 2 professors, a senior lecturer, and 3 members of their families.
At about 12:30, the bandits invaded the Giri staff quarters and took away university staff, where some are members and their relations. The number of people kidnapped, they are 6 in number.
A professor and his son were kidnapped from here after the invaders forced their way into the house through this window.
They came in to our house through the back window. And they broke the window, came in, asked us to bring what we have. They took some of our gadgets and went away with my dad, my junior brother, and I was with them too. However, after some distance inside the bush, they decided to release me with one of us, because we were about 8 of us that took. So they went with 6 and released 2 people. We had to find our way back home.
Another eyewitness says it took some time for the invaders to get into this house, and the anger led to the destruction you see here before the victim, a senior lecturer, is taken away.
They tried to open, it was a bit difficult for them, but they gained entry when they now entered. So they dragged him out and started beating him. That they beat him up mercilessly. And actually my husband has not been strong for this now. He was even supposed to start his medication, but he said he wanted to finish whatever he had with the VC before he can settle down and treat himself.
The University of Abuja is 45.4 kilometers to Abuja city center. There is also a military battalion around the main campus of the university. Yet eyewitnesses say the invaders operated for over an hour unchallenged. However, both the FCT Commissioner of Police and the management of the University of Abuja are optimistic that the victims will be rescued.
When we received the distress call of sporadic shooting in the university quarters here, Giri. So we mobilized, we sent reinforcement, we called our sister agency, 176 Battalion, who also came to our aids, together with the internal security of the university. They've been on the trail of the hoodlums and those kidnapped, and they are on their trail. By the grace of God, we will rescue them.
Issue of security is not thing that you just speak publicly, but what I just want to assure you is that we are pursuing them, and we are not going to give up until we get them.
24 hours after, the kidnappers make their demand. They want 50 million naira for each of the victims. However, the University of Abuja chapter of the Academic Staff Union of Universities are worried about the situation.
What is most painful is their demand for payment of ransom from the helpless members of affected families and general public. The union believes that unless urgent measures are put in place, things may become worse, and therefore demand that the following be done. 1. Immediate rescue and release of all our kidnapped members, children and other staff.
Meanwhile, some 90 kilometers away from the university, the military set up a stop and search operation on Abuja-Kefi Highway. For those familiar with this area, occasional traffic buildup is not an unusual sight, but on Wednesday morning, commuters were clearly unprepared for this massive traffic gridlock caused by the military's stop and search operation. For hours, motorists who reside in Masaka, Maraba, Karu and Jikoi areas were trapped as some abandoned their vehicles to walk long distance to catch up with their business for the day.
I left my house in Nyanya around before 6 in the morning, and I reached the town, area 3 precisely, by 8 o'clock. So I have not been late like that to work because of this.
Before I got to the office today, it is around 1:30, and I trekked right from where I was living, where I'm living now. I trekked from there, then from CBN down to Nyanya here.
The situation started about 24 hours after the abduction at the University of Abuja, although the highway is some distance from the university.
We know they are safeguarding us. Let them know what to do with the security of this country. Blocking the road will not solve the problem. Solving the problem is to go where those people are and meet them. Because if something happens, they will now come and block road. This one, it will affect so many people.
Like today, we are told they are doing stop and search from morning and up to this time. You can see that even closing hour. Unfortunately, we don't have alternative route. Every time we have any small problem along this route, then we are all in problems.
They are adopted from University of Abuja. They kidnap so. What is our own business there? That should mean the masses should suffer. At least if there's something occurred there, they should know how they put security there.
Although the presence of security agencies on the road is not unusual, the increased operation suggests something could be amiss. Nevertheless, the Nigerian Army is yet to provide explanation on this latest action. 3 days after the abduction, the police confirmed the rescue of the victims by a joint team of operatives from various security agencies.
As I'm standing now, my joy knows no bound. I'm highly delighted. I can't just express the level of joy I have in my mind now. It's a great one.
What actually happened? Was there ransom paid? How were they rescued? Have information?
No ransom. No ransom paid. Please take note that we have also arrested some of the suspects, and it was the pressure mounted on them that gave way for this result. All the security agencies came together, joined hands to see that this success is achieved.
According to the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, No ransom was paid for the rescue.
Our guest on the program is Assistant Commissioner of Police, UNIABUJA, the head of operations at the FCT Police Command. He tells us what he can as regards the rescued kidnapped victims from the University of Abuja, plans to keep Abuja safe as the year comes to an end, and the inconveniences residents may have to bear in the coming weeks. Please watch this. Mr. UNIABUJA, welcome to Dateline Abuja.
Thank you very much.
Well, congratulations to the police. We just heard that the victims of the kidnappings in Gwagwalada at school have been rescued. What details can you give us right now?
It's a very happy news you want to tell us. The most important thing that I would want to hint here is that the victims have been rescued. Some suspects have been arrested, and investigation is still on.
How many suspects have been arrested?
Let's just, like the ones we have now, if we tell you we've arrested 6 suspects, I don't know whether that will suffice.
Okay, so have you arrested 6 suspects?
Great. So, like I said, other details will be contained in our press release. We'll do more about that.
Okay.
Yes.
But where was the rescue operation? Where were they found? Or where was the rescue done?
I have just told you that it will not be fair. This is an operational thing. It will not be fair for us to start revealing most of what has happened. But the most important thing is that the victims have been rescued on hot, all of them. And to the glory of God, they have been reunited with the families.
So they're with their families right now. Yeah. And just to be clear, no ransom was paid in this?
No ransom. Ransom, when we were on top. Well, like I said, let me not divulge all that we need to give you in the press release. Yes, the security, not just the police, the security agencies put hands together and worked tirelessly to see that this is achieved.
So this was a joint effort?
Joint effort. In fact, the day after the incident, that was on Wednesday, the CP, don't forget that on Tuesday morning, the CP went to the scene of crime, visited all the areas that are important to us, the persons too that were also concerned, the authorities. And upon his return, he summoned a joint meeting of all the security agencies in FCT.
So this was an FCT effort?
FCT effort. It was great, yes. And like you will always have it, we always have, want to have this, want to synergize with everybody involved. Part of the one we classify as G7 in security circle were also involved. So the CP didn't take it lightly. He has been on and on and on until everybody helped in whichever way that we could. And glory be to God, here we have the result.
Well, it is very good news for a lot of Nigerians, especially from the academic community, because, you know, it was students, and now we're looking at lecturers. Is this something that worries the police force, really? You know, the fact that the academic environment has become a target for kidnappers? And is there a plan on some level to, you know, maybe ramp up security around, you know, educational institutions across the nation even, you know, to ensure that these places don't become a market for kidnappers, as we have seen with secondary schools across the country?
Yeah, what I would simply say is that we are going to rejig our plans. We will have to review and re-strategize. We have, since, if you recall, we had these issues in other states where schools were invaded and students were taken away, okay? So as soon as we had such reports, we in FCT didn't joke with it. We put everything in shape to see that schools are properly segregated, we involved everybody, both the community, because we believe that community policing is also a factor that can assist. So everybody was involved in this. All the schools, the principals of the schools or the heads of schools were also involved. As I'm talking to you now, there is no school you go to in FCT, especially those ones with boarding facilities. Yes, they are well fortified. So this one took us aback. Well, we're surprised at it.
Because this is a very secure school. In fact, its location, you can't even fly a drone in that school, you know, in the surroundings. It's actually a very secure location. So yes, you are correct. It did shock a lot of us that this attack could happen.
Great.
So is there going to be increased security to ensure that this doesn't repeat itself?
Like I mentioned earlier, I said we are going to re-strategize. We'll just review what we have in place, what we have put in place so far, and then see how we can improve on it. Yes, I am sure and confident that this will not repeat itself.
You know, while we're talking about kidnappings, you know, let's take a look at some trends in the nation's capital, especially towards the end of the year. Many suburbs, Gosa especially, and many other places, are known to have kidnapping incidents at the end of the year. In fact, there was a year where we went to a particular village, and they had kidnapped over 30 people. And and in that case, the people who were kidnapped actually paid ransom because we spoke to them when they came back. Talk to us a bit about this situation, you know, seeing as we're coming towards the end of the year. What's the police doing to ensure that suburbs, especially in the nation's capital, are secure as the year rounds up?
Good enough. I'll tell you that I was the area commander in one of the areas you are talking about. And when we got there...
What area was that?
If it matters to you, Abaji. Don't forget that at the time that place was always in the news.
Oh, yes.
Good. And when we got
both
there...
the communities and the highway?
Everywhere. Everywhere. So we put heads together with all concerned, like I said. Usually we want to carry that along. And while doing that, we were able to get the plate properly secured. I beat my chest to say that you hardly hear of kidnapping in Abuja these days. Yes, because we worked hard on it, and the authorities rolled out everything we needed, and that is why the place has been so quiet. So what other areas that these things are happening now, we're also taking note of those ones, and we're going to extend the same action to this area, and I'm sure the result will be positive.
Well, Mr. Nwabuwa,
thank you.
You have quite a lot of work ahead of you.
Great.
Congratulations on the work done so far in the rescue of our people from the academic community, and we wish you all the best in the months to come.
Thank you, and God bless you.
Thanks to my guest, ACP Nwabuwa, and to everyone who spoke to us on this very sensitive matter. It used to be secondary schools. Then it moved to students of higher institutions. And now, lecturers are being targeted by these kidnappers. Don't be deceived. We created this problem. We watched it fester, pretended it didn't affect us until it did. And now, here we are. It's not too late. The right attitude, the right policies, and the willpower to keep Abuja safe will be crucial in the coming months. No time like the present. That's Dateline Abuja this week. Please let us know the happenings in your neighborhood using the social media handles showing right now on your screen. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Kayla Magwa. See you next time.